Hello, I'm Alistair Cooper and welcome to the PlanningGame.com 7 free strategies series. Here we are at strategy 2, called the classic corner plot. In this and future strategies, we're going to look at specific examples of what you can achieve, which will help to give you confidence to go out and find similar opportunities in your local area. So as I said, today we're going to focus on the classic corner plot. So what's that, you may ask? Well, typically it's a house that's built on the corner of two streets that has spare land at the side, or the rear in some cases, that could easily be developed. The beauty of these is they're frequently available, and they're also often unrecognised. What do I mean by unrecognised? Well, I mean that no one else has seen the opportunity to develop or build an additional dwelling upon that plot yet. What this helps you to do is get free land, as I call it. What do I mean by free land? Well, I mean the property is on the market for the same, or even lower in some cases, price than other similar properties in the area have sold for. But the beauty is those other properties wouldn't have had land to the side or rear that could easily be developed. And they really do exist. Some people bizarrely put their properties on the market for the same price as all the others and just don't seem to realise that there's spare land at the side that can be developed. They're also very flexible. There's many ways in which you can profit from these opportunities. You can simply add extensions and refurbish the property, or as I say, in the best examples, you can create one or even more than one additional dwellings to the side or rear. They're also really easy to finance. Why is this? Well, because basically you're just buying another residential house. So you could either be buying it for your own purposes on a residential mortgage, or buying it as a buy-to-let property, in which case rentals would need to stack, etc., as they would for any other buy-to-let purchase. But apart from that, at the stage at which you're purchasing the property, it's no different from any other property that you may purchase. It doesn't become a development project until you've gained the planning permission, I should say. So let's have a look at a few examples, shall we? It's in St Albans, and from this point of view, let's have a look. It looks like any other house. It's a typical 1930s Edwardian semi. So what's special about it? Well, let's have a look around the local area first and see what other people have been up to. If we look at the photograph on your left, this is actually the direct opposite corner to where my house is positioned. And you can see that very similar 3-bedroom property, semi-detached property, is situated there, and they've utilised the land space at the side to build, in this case, a detached 4 to 5 bedroom dwelling. So here I've got confidence that I can also create at least one other dwelling, because I've seen other examples in the area. Now let's have a look to the right. This is actually directly opposite on the other side of the road from my particular house. And what's going on here? Well, here they've managed to clear the side, just demolish a small garage, etc. And they're going to extend that property and convert it into 4 one-bedroom flats. So again, that gives me confidence that if I wanted to go for flats on the side, I've got a better chance of success. Success is never guaranteed when it comes to applying for planning permission, but the more examples you can find that have already been given permission in the local area, the stronger your argument is when you come to submit your application. 2 more examples. Again, these are less than 200 metres from the particular property we're now talking about. On the left, again, a classic corner position. Next to this house was another one of the standard 1930s 3-bed semis. They've taken the corner plot and in this case built a huge dwelling, which is actually totally out of keeping with the local area. But despite all those reasons why it shouldn't be given permission, it was. And although it looks totally out of place, someone's profited a great deal. On the right, another example of this is a tighter corner plot. You can see how the fence is angled, so there's actually not very much land to play with. And yet, someone's managed to gain permission in this case for 2 2-bedroom masonettes. So let's have a look at this particular deal, shall we? And this might get your appetite whetted for going out there and sourcing similar deals yourself. So as I said, it looks like any other house. I purchased it for £250,000, which is a very similar price at the time to what other properties were selling for in the area. The difference is, of course, they didn't have the free land at the side, and this one did. So what would my strategies be? Because as you'll remember from our first talk on strategy 1, you need to have 2 or 3 clear strategies for how you could profit from any particular development. And also you need to have a clear exit strategy. So what were they here? Well, the obvious strategy was to add another house directly to the left-hand side of the original house, same as they'd done opposite. A more developed strategy, perhaps not so obvious, would be to squeeze in 5 flats on the side land. What I haven't shown you on the picture is this is actually a very deep plot, over 102 feet deep. So it actually gives me the opportunity to develop the whole side land and actually build 5 one-bedroom flats. Also, there's a clear exit strategy. I could rent this property as a multi-let property. It would more than cover the mortgage, so I could just hold on to it. It wouldn't actually cost me anything to fund the monthly repayments on the mortgage. I could also refurbish the property and wait for the market to rise a little and sell it on at 270, 280. So therefore I've got 3 clear strategies on how I can profit from this deal, and it also covers its monthly costs. So therefore it's a good deal, and you should be looking for similar deals yourself. So what would the profits be? Well, if I developed a single house on the side, this would cost me in the region of £125,000, £130,000 to build, and it would sell in the current market as a detached property. Remember, this is only a semi at the moment. The additional detached property would sell in the region of £375,000 to £380,000. So it would return an extremely healthy profit of £250,000. But taking the same piece of land and getting planning permission and developing 5 flats, well, these would all, each individual flat would sell for around £180,000 in the current market, and they'd cost about £70,000 to £80,000 each to develop. Well, this would be a more complicated development and be more difficult to finance, but look at the profit, £500,000. So you don't need to know which strategy I'm going for on this one. I'm seeking permission for 5 flats. See, I'm going for 5, but I've got the confidence that even if I don't get the 5 and only get 4, I'm still well ahead of the game. And even if I don't get permission for any flats, I can still go ahead and build a single house and still make a very, very healthy profit indeed. You need to buy quite a few small below market value terraces to end up with a profit of £250,000. So let's have a look at a few of the caveats. These are really a few warnings, if you like, that will help you decide whether any particular corner plot development is likely to be successful or not. Bear in mind the building line. What do I mean by this? Well, generally, if you submit applications for a new property, the local authority will want to see it being built in line with the others, i.e. you're not going to get away with building too far forward of the same line of the other buildings. Also, be aware of the building line on the opposing road. So when you've got a corner involved, you haven't just got to consider the building line in the same street. You've also got to consider how houses are built in the street that runs at 90 degrees to your property. Also consider overdevelopment. This may well be a reason for refusal of my application for 5 flats on this particular development. The council may consider that I'm trying to squeeze a quart into a pint pot and I'm overdeveloping the site. Now, councils are not always successful on winning their argument about overdevelopment. The council may also consider that your development is not in keeping with the street scene. So in this particular example of Glennon Avenue, I've ensured that the plans for the new flats look very similar to the existing Edwardian style bay fronted houses that are all within the street in the local area. The council may also argue on this one that the flats are not appropriate because they say that they would need to protect the supply of family housing in the area. This is less of a strong argument nowadays because most families simply can't afford family housing, and many more families start off in flats nowadays because of the prices. But planning departments are not usually that connected with the real world, and so again it may be a common reason why your application's turned down. Also, there may not be sufficient parking, but again you'll learn in future series and when you join me on the workshop that you don't necessarily always need to provide parking for new flats, especially if they happen to be close to the town centre or close to major transport links. This is known as PPG3, and again you'll learn more about this later. And also, one thing that will be in favour of your development is that any corner plot or any development in the rear of gardens, etc., is known as brownfield development. Brownfield's not just the redevelopment of old factory sites and petrol stations. It's literally any development that isn't built on fresh green land, basically. So this brings me on again to the workshop. Coming up is a one-day practical guide you through the whole process workshop. And why am I running these? Well, I've developed my portfolio and I've made quite comfortable money out of the planning game, as you found out. And now I want to move on to the next stage, and that's helping others to achieve the same success as me, and hopefully they'll want to involve me as joint venture partners. This allows me to leverage my time and get involved in larger, more exciting projects. So what's the workshop all about? Well, we join for a day, a good 8, 9 or even 10 hours with questions, and we take you through the whole process of how to spot opportunities, how to get plans drawn up, how to submit an application to local authority, how to win permission, how to deal with rejection. You'll certainly need to develop that skill if you're going to win the planning game. We help to break down all the jargon that's associated with planning permission, PBG3, brownfield, not in keeping with the street scene, etc., etc., and give you all the guidance you need to achieve your goals. We want you to leave our one-day workshop with a briefcase full of skills and the confidence to help you go out the very next day and start seeing opportunities in your local area and having the confidence to get the finance together, get the planning permission through, and get the development built, sold, or even kept as you wish. Basically, we want you to have the skills and confidence to make a lot of profit and help you to win the planning game. Thanks for sharing your time with me, and look forward to speaking to you again soon on Strategy 3.